Chelsea just dropped 19 million euros on a 28-year-old journeyman who didn't even smell professional football until he was 24, played his first European game at 27, and just dragged Rayo Vallecano to a European final. Forget the shiny wonder kids. Xabi Alonso has signed a human suffocating machine. Meet Pep Chavarria, the ultimately blooming machine built to terrorize Premier League wingers. Welcome to the Football Hot Mic, where we don't just read the table, we look at the raw, unfiltered violence of transfer markets. I'm Chika, and I'm your host for today. Why not be an ambassador for me? Be an evangelist for me. Tell people about the Football Hot Mic. Tell them about what we do. We don't break the news for you. We break the transfer market. We break the details. We break the tactical details for you to understand. We make it easy for you. We give you the facts. We give you the insights. We give you the statistics. And at the end, after watching us, you learn how to understand the game better. There's no account on social media or podcast like this. So be an evangelist for me. Smash the like button, drop your comments, and then tell people about what we are doing. Now let's go. Today we are talking about a move that has the traditionalists scratching their heads and the Deltanists losing their minds. Chelsea has officially raided Rayo Vallecano for a 28-year-old Spanish left-back Pep Chavarria, paying an initial fee in the region of 19 million euros. This isn't your standard pampered academy product. He never had. Pep Chavarria never attended an academy or played for a reserve team. No, this is an individual who spent most of his career in the pyramid of Spanish football division. Yes, an individual that played in the top flights at the age of 24. That's when he's made his debut at the top flight. So this is an extremely late bloomer. This is a guy who clawed his way up through the brutal trenches of Spanish lower divisions, made his La Liga debut at 24, played his first continental match last year and capped it off by reaching the UEFA Conference League final, having lost to Crystal Palace in the final. Now he's walking into Stamford Bridge as Xabi Alonso's secret weapon to fill the void left by Marco Correa. This isn't a master stroke. This is Chelsea buying a player for the system they want to play. This is a player that you can't compare to Marco Correa, because Marco Correa is a starting left back for the Spanish national team. Pep Chavarria didn't even make the World Cup, so you can't even compare him to Correa. But the difference is that unlike Correa, who likes to invert to the center, Chavarria fits perfectly what Xabi Alonso wants to do. He wants a player who holds the width, who can play on his own on the sides without the attackers waiting for him. If Chelsea plays the 3-4-2-1, the 2 is going to be Rogers and then Kopama in the center as a 2 number 10s, and you have Pedro up front on his own, or you can have Jackson, or you can have Weber, because it's likely Jackson is going to be kept. So when you have that, you have 3 defenders and then 4 midfielders, or 2 central midfielders and then 2 wing backs. You have Chavarria here and they have Palastra here. So Chavarria is going to hold that weight. He's going to attack and defend. Unlike Correa, who comes to the center or who drops to the center in order to create an overload in the center, Chavarria doesn't do that. He holds that weight. And holding that weight now allows Kopama and Rogers to drift into spaces left in the center of the field or into the empty pockets for the opposition. So he's a perfect player for the system Alonso wants to play. It's not that he's the best player or whatever. No, he has his problem. But in terms of pressing, he is. Xabi Alonso didn't greenlight this 19 million package by accident. Chavarria is tailor-made for a system that demands absolute structural dominance on the flanks. While he can slot in as a left centre back in a back three or fill emergency shifts as a left winger, his decision making and execution drive cleanly as a traditional left back. Yes, for Alonso's system. Chavarria reported a massive 70 touches per 90 minutes last season in La Liga, proving he demands the ball under pressure. Yes, he had 70 touches of the ball last season in La Liga. He will likely hold the width, allowing creators like Kopama, Estaval and Morgan Rogers to talk inside. If you had Correa as a left wing back in that system, it's not going to work, because Correa is likely to drift in the middle again, suffocating the space that should have been left for Morgan Rogers, Estaval and Palmer, or Pedro, who can likely play also as a number 10, leaving Danny Welbeck as a lone striker up front. So with Chavarria, he's going to keep that weight on the left. Chavarria chipped in 1.98 accurate long balls per 90 last season and 0.11 expected assists, anchoring a disciplined transitional game. Do you understand? He chipped in 1.8 accurate long balls. That tells you how good he is. P90 in terms of crossing. And also 0.11 expected assists. So for that system, for the system Alonso wants to play, where he wants a left back who suffocates opponents by pressing non-stop, this is the ideal player for him. He presses. His greatest asset is his energy, stamina, and endurance. He busts forward, doesn't get tired, physically extremely strong. So you look at his stats last season: 70 touches per 90. That means he can play in a team that wants to hold the ball a lot of times, that wants to hold the ball most of the time. If you want someone who treats defending like a personal insult, Chavarria is your guy. He is rapid, hyper-aggressive, and possesses relentless physical intensity. Chavarria loves getting tight and suffocating his opponent. That is his main strength. Getting tight at opponents, always rushing opponents, not giving them time to think, always getting at them. Chavarria won 127 grand duels over the course of the campaign, maintaining a stellar 51.8% grand duel success per 90. I just told you he had 70 touches per 90 last season, proving that he can play in a team that wants to hold the ball, and he can play in a team that can transition. And also he had a 1.98 accurate long balls, crosses, and also 0.11 expected assists. That is, he can create. Now you look at defensively, he had 127 ground duels over the course of the campaign, and then 51.8% ground duel success rate per 90. That just tells you that he can hold his own defensively. He registered 4.71 ball recoveries. So you can play Highland. This is why he's better as a wing back. He can also play on the left side in the 3-man central defense. He can play as a third person on the left, but he's way better as a wing back because he has the pace to terrorize opponents and then press opponents to death, and also the pace to recover. Because if you look at last season, he registered 4.71 ball recoveries per 90 last season and 0.47 blocked shots per 90. That shows you his strength in recovering. That tells you that even when he's caught out of position, he has the energy, he has the pace to recover. 4.71 ball recoveries is extremely high per 90 and 0.47 block shots. So showcasing his elite anticipation and reading of the game before things become dangerous. That's one of his key strengths. So for the system Alonso wants to play, he's a perfect player for that. He might not be the most talented, he might not be the best to watch, but for that system that Chelsea wants to play, where you have two wing backs, Palestra and then Chavarria, holding the width, becoming dangerous, and then forcing the defenders to push them out wide, creating chances in the center for Morgan Rogers and Kopama. You have a system where every wing back or every left back or right back are forced to stay on the width at the line, forcing only the central defenders to stay in the middle, with Morgan Rogers, Estavao, Joao Pedro, and Kopama out in the middle. Not talking about the striker who might be Danny Welbeck or Nicholas Jackson. So when you do that, you allow Morgan Rogers and Palmer the chance, the position, the numbers in the middle to wreak havoc in the opposition half. Every Iron Man has a kryptonite. Chavarria's ultra defensive front foot style means he's sometimes too eager to slam the door shut. When his timing slips, his aggressive nature works against him, leaving him vulnerable to be turned. That is his most problem, because sometimes he's just too eager, and that makes him vulnerable. Sometimes he arrives late to tackles and he causes a foul. Sometimes it could be a penalty. So that is his greatest problem. If only you could time his pressing better. That is the greatest problem with Pep Chavarria. He was dispossessed 0.54 times per 90 last season, a figure that we need careful management against elite Premier League pressers. Yes, 0.54 per 90 is poor. He has to improve on that. His raw defensive output indicator standing at 1.81 tackles per 90 and 1.04 interceptions per 90, 1.81 tackles per 90 and 1.04 interceptions per 90 show areas where Xabi Alonso's defensive coaching must refine his hyper eager trigger so he doesn't overcommit. Yes, he has to improve on that. He has to tackle way more often than that. 1.81 tackles per 90 is not good enough. He has to at least make it up to 2 point something. He has to double that. And 1.04 interceptions, no, he has to do better than that. So you have a player who is tailor-made for Alonso's system. At 28, I don't think he's going to improve much, but he can refine his game. But in terms of pressing, you have Palestra, who is also extremely very, very fast and physical, and you have Chavarria, who is the same. So you have Chelsea having two wing backs that are extremely aggressive and extremely physical. So next season, Chelsea is going to be a very ultra aggressive physical team that presses opponents to the last. So look, you can buy all the 18-year-olds with fancy YouTube highlights that you want, but sometimes you need a player forged in the lower leagues who knows how to suffer for 3 points. Forged in the lower leagues or lower fires. At 28, Pep Chavarria is entering his absolute physical prime with a chip on his shoulders, which is the size of Stamford Bridge. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Is Pep Chavarria going to lock down Chelsea's left side, or is his high-risk aggressive or aggression going to catch up with him in the Premier League? Make sure you hit that subscribe button, leave a 5-star review. We will catch you in the next one. Don't forget, tell people about this page, smash the like button and then share. See you in the next one. Thanks. Peace.